I was a fixer with a film crew in Latin America, where I would take the film crew and hook them up with the locals and the government and have them work together. And I was always kind of off air. And then I worked with Halogen TV on a project about serving others. And so I just kind of combined both of them, and now I'm here, sitting next to you.
Tim Russ, the man, is someone who's been very, very, very lucky in his personal life and in his professional life over the years.
You know, I'm very fortunate because I've worked with so many different types of people in the bush. Literally within 10 to 15 people that I've worked with, it wasn't clicking because you're in such a hard area to work in.
The door for a really good project with Paramount, and from that point forward, I never looked back. I was lucky to continue on doing some films and then working into television.
You know, it's 100 degrees. There's no protection in terms of shade. There's bugs. There's kind of dangers and things. And once I looked up him and we saw each other and we kind of had similar backgrounds, and I kind of need him and hopefully he needs me, so we can really make a difference when we're out there shooting.
My work on Voyager, the series.
Okay.
Because I got to that particular level in my career, being a regular on a series that was on for a number of years.
Medical supplies and medical teams, doctors, optometrists, and she would treat all the people that have never seen a doctor. And a lot of them had the same kind of illnesses, and we never kind of really knew at that time in the 80s and 90s. But then recently, technology and new information came out that all of the illnesses are water related.
Like that. So once you get on one that's successful and has somewhat of a profile like Star Trek has, it just opened up more doors and opportunities that came available to me. Before that, I didn't have.
7 billion people on the planet, 1 billion don't have access to the water.
Next Generation.
Next Generation.
The very first incarnation of Star Trek series when they brought it back was Next Generation, and I was up against LeVar Burton for that role.
The power of water is probably the most important thing to humanity right now. It's a crisis. And
I worked professionally before I left college. I worked on Masterpiece Theater with Glenn Turman. I worked in a local episodic show that took place there on cable.
You need to get a special kind of person like Doug to really get in there, and I can set up the framework, but then he's the guru that can really set up the shots, and he works well with the locals, he works well with all the different types of variables.
Before being booked on Next Generation, and then Deep Space Nine, and then one of the features, and so that whole process of getting Voyager was 7 years.
When you come in and you've got water, I mean, one of the most valuable assets, how do you get, what's the response?
Obviously based on Leonard Nimoy's character, Spock, in the original series.
So if there was a neighborhood that you lived in, and I gave your house clean water, and everyone knew that you had clean water, what would people do?
Run to my house.
Right.
And so when you're trying to sleep at 2 o'clock in the morning and someone needs clean water, you might have to open the door, you could shut it.
For me as an actor, it was not difficult to play, because as an actor you train your whole life to learn how to show a range of emotions. Sure. And here's somebody I played for 7 years that doesn't.
Or if that's where the clean water is and you have 100 people in town and they all know where that is, and if they know that their family needs the clean water to survive, what are you going to do to go get it? Right. All the water sources, animals and humans, and about 10 to 15 feet away from each other. This is the restroom. This is where you go number 1 and number 2. Voila. You're sweaty, day's done, you can take a shower. And this is about 5 feet away from the drinking water, from the bathroom, and from the animals. So everything is really close, very easy access, but as you know, cross-contamination is never a good idea. Necesito agua de limpia. Es no parasitas, no más, nunca, es perfecto, and it's gratis. Bueno. Bathroom, shower, drinking water, animals and humans all in 15 feet hanging out. So that's why there's a crisis. And yeah, that's pretty much the big issue.
Wow, that's amazing. Thank you for what you guys are doing. This is extremely, I don't even know how to put the right words to this. I mean, this is life-saving.
And the thing about it is, if you are really good at that, you hone that skill, and so those roles you go up for, you get really good at doing those parts, and you'll keep doing those parts over and over again. Now, you might be able to expand here and there as you get more.
And my question is for Fraser. Wanted to know if you plan on going beyond documentary films.
I would be open to it if it had a really good purpose.
Yeah, well, you want to say typecast? Yeah, in a sense, you are everybody who wants to pursue this line of work in front of the camera. You are essentially a product. Okay, you are something that represents a character on screen, and especially for television, it's all very cookie cutter.
I will bring the Federation to their knees for what their portal did to us. I will make them suffer the same fate we did.
About how a certain degree of fortune in one's destiny plays such a major role. You know, the doors, if you're lucky enough to be in front of them when they open, what you can do once you walk through there, you know, is something that you can control to some degree in terms of what you've studied and learned, what you've taken with you from your parents and your life experiences. But just being able to have those doors available to you makes a huge, huge difference. So. These days, that's a lot of what I think about.
Question, it's extremely important, and I think that the scene that we looked at is a good example of that. We were in tight spaces. I think we stepped in the same heaping pile of cow dung, and we were in sync.
Wow.
It's a question of focusing on the circumstance that you're in. If you have something to draw from as personal experience and you're playing this part and you have something that happened to you, it's much easier. If you don't, you have to put yourself in that circumstance. What if? Okay. And most of acting is listening to the other person. So if the other character gives you something, you take that, let it sink in, and then respond the same way you would do it naturally.
I think a documentary is more truthful rather than maybe, I mean, I believe that maybe the cinema is more staged.
Yeah.
If you'd like to be a member of our studio audience, to meet and greet film industry professionals, visit our website at ncfc.tv.